We are already in week 9 of the Iowa high school basketball season, and we have our newest and latest podcast covering Iowa high school basketball. Week 9, here we go. We've got rankings coming up here. First, to start off the video, then we're going to move on to our dunks and dogs for the week, and then Nelly is going to hit us with our game of the week for each and every class. So yeah, let's get right into it. First, we are going to start off with our our rankings for this week. So we're going to start off with Class 4A. There's the 4A graphic for your newest rankings. Right there at the top, you see Valley finally cracks that number 1 spot. Cedar Falls held it down for many, many weeks after Valley took a loss, and they finally took back the spot. Nelly, what was your reaction to that Cedar Falls upset last week to Prairie?
Prairie's a good team. I mean, there's a lot of people who can just make some noise. I mean, Prairie's been kind of sneaking up and up the rankings each week. They were at 10 last week. They were at 13 the week before, 14 the week before that, and then 16 the week before that. So they've just been slowly climbing up the rankings. But, yeah, that Cedar Falls win is definitely going to be a statement for them, and if they can do anything in the postseason, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was a really exciting. I was listening to the broadcast. It was just chaos in the gym. It was a lot of fun. I'm sure it was a great environment there. 3 through 6, they all stay the same. Kennedy, Waukee Northwest, Linn-Mar, Dubuque Senior, they all stay put. Cedar Rapids Prairie obviously gets a big boost. Let's see, last week before their win against Cedar Falls, they were at number 10, so they go up 3. Ames goes up. Council Bluffs Abe Lincoln also goes up. Shout out to the Lynx getting an upset against Waukee. That was another crazy game in 4A. It was just a crazy week for 4A, to be honest. And then Waukee gets a little bit of a slide down after that loss. Dowling takes a tumble down to 11. They lost to Ankeny. That's right. It was the upset with Ankeny over Dowling. Iowa City West stays at number 12. Muscatine, Sioux City East, and Ankeny all get a boost, and Johnston falls down to number 16. So that was a crazy week. Nelly, do you have anything else to add to these rankings? That was just a lot of movement there.
Yeah, we got a couple big games coming up this week. We'll talk later for a game of the week and picks and stuff like that. But one I don't want you guys to miss is going to be number 14 Sioux City East versus number 9 Council Bluff Lincoln. Two of the teams out west who we don't see a lot of course, because we're all so far away. But these are two very talented teams that could definitely make a big splash in the postseason and could surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it is unfortunate that we are geographically tied down here and covering a lot of these teams, but definitely don't sleep on those West teams. We'll move on to Class 3A. Not a ton of movement, especially in that top 6. Everyone stays from the rankings from last week. Number 7 is now Pella's spot. They move up to number 7. CCA, they go up into the top 10 for the first time this season, even up to number 9. MOC Floyd Valley drops to 10. Wahlert drops to 11. Waverly Shell Rock, they go from unranked to number 12. And I saw a lot of people very upset that they weren't in there after they beat Nevada. That's right. They beat Nevada. They didn't crack the rankings, but they got in this week. Nevada drops down to number 13. Gilbert and Des Moines Christian up to 14 and 15. And then Keokuk drops down to number 16. Going on to 2A here. We've got Kemper Catholic and Western Christian. They stay put at 1 and 2. West Lyon goes up to number 3. Grundy Center and Grandview Christian down 4 and 5. Unity Christian up to number 6. Trainer and Cascade stay at 7 and 8. Appleton Parkersburg up to 9. Spirit Lake gets a boost to 11. Regina Catholic moves down to number 12. Ridgeview up to 13, and Monticello and Tri-Center drop to 14 and 15. And we're going to finish with Class 1A. Top 5 there, Madrid, Marquette, Woodbine, Bedford, and Gladbrook-Rhinebeck, they all stay put 1 through 5. North Lynn gets a boost. They leapfrog Remsen St. Mary's there from the 8 to the 6. ACGC got a big boost in the rankings this week. They were number 12 last week, and they go up to number 8. And I think that's deserving. They're 15-1 on the season. They're having a fantastic year. Coon Rapids Bayard stays at number 9. MMCRU goes up to 10. Holy Trinity Catholic, they drop down to 11. Collins Maxwell, North Mahaska, and Montezuma, they all slide down in the rankings. St. Edmund, shout out to St. Edmund. They are finally cracked the 1A rankings. They've had a really good year. Hunter Horn, he's a really talented player, a guy that I recall is on our Mr. IAbasketball watch list. So I think it's about time, dude, that they made it into the rankings this season. And then Hillcrest, they fall down to number 16. So that's your rankings for Week 9. It's kind of weird to think about 1A and 2A start playoff games next week. After this coming week of games, we're going to be having playoff basketball. And it's just, the season's gone by so fast. I mean, it's I don't know what to say. It's been really fun, but we're going to be having play-in games, first round of districts, and it's going to be all coming to an end soon. So please stay tuned to what we've got going on our socials and everything. We're going to have a total full postseason coverage of all that, district, sub-state, all the good stuff. So, yeah, we're going to move on to our picks. Nelly, I'll let you get us started. What do we have for our 4A picks in Week 9?
All right, my Week 9 4A dunk of the week is going to be number 6, Dubuque Senior, playing Iowa City Liberty. Mr. IAbasketball watch list member Tevin Schultz is averaging 19.9, 20 points per game this year. He is an absolute beast. I've seen him play in person a couple of times. And this team is actually 7th in 4A in three-point shooting percentage and have taken the last 4 out of 5 all-time matchups between them and Iowa City Liberty. I think they get it done. And then my 4A dog of the week is going to be number 5, Linmar, against number 3, Kennedy, which is the game of the week. And we will be talking about that one later.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go with my dunk here. I'm going to go Council Bluffs, Abe Lincoln, kind of riding the bandwagon here as they got that close win with Hawkeyes. Like we mentioned before, that was a 70-69 victory at home. I think it was on Saturday, maybe yesterday, something like that. It was a really thrilling game, fun to keep up with. I'm going to take them over Council Bluffs Jefferson. They take on, I believe that's tomorrow or Tuesday. It's on Tuesday. 16-0 start to the season. And looking ahead on their schedule, me and Nelly were kind of talking about this before the show. They've got a pretty good chance to go undefeated here on the season. They've proven themselves against really good teams, and they've got a few more challenges left in their schedule, but I think they can take care of business here. I wouldn't be surprised if this is an undefeated team heading into playoff basketball. So I'm going to take them to get the dunk and get the win there against Jefferson. And my dog, really big-time game here. Another team that I'm kind of just riding on the momentum here. Cedar Rapids Prairie taking on Linmar. Obviously, Prairie just beat the number 1 team in the state, Cedar Falls, 71-70 in double overtime, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
Linmar, another team who has beat Cedar Falls. They beat them 5 games ago in a 69-61 effort. So these are the only 2 teams in the state who have been able to find a way to beat the powerhouse that is Cedar Falls. So I think this is going to be really interesting. But I'm going to go ahead and take Prairie to get the upset there. We'll move on to Class 3A. And I'll let you share your picks for this week.
Yeah, just real quick, adding on to the Council Bluff Lincoln, their remaining schedule is filled with teams that they've already beat, including Council Bluffs Jefferson and Bishop Heelan. But that big matchup that they probably all have circled on their calendars, that rematch against Sioux City East, they beat them by 5 earlier in the year. And if they can get that done, they'll play MOC Floyd Valley and Dallas Center Grimes to finish out the year, which are two teams that are very capable, but the Lynx are a capable team to beat them as well. But getting into
Absolutely.
my 3A picks, my dunk of the week is going to be at number 7 Pella. They're playing Oskaloosa, and they're on a heater right now with a 4-game win streak, including a big win over Des Moines Christian. Jack McGuire is averaging 15.7 points per game, and against Oskaloosa, they are 32-7 all time. I think that the Dutch get this one done. And my 3A dog of the week is going to be Perry playing Nevada. Owen Myers is averaging 18.8 points per game. And both teams are kind of in a little skid right now. Nevada and Perry are both 3-2 in their last 5. But Perry did lose this first matchup this year, 74-47. So hopefully they can turn the tables this week.
Yeah, absolutely. My dunk for Class 3A this week, this one was hard for me to pick. I do have family ties to Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont, but unfortunately, I'm going to pick against them. I think you've picked against South Hamilton before, so I'm sure it's fine. But I'm going to go with Knoxville here. I'm going to go with Knoxville here. Team that we haven't really talked about. They're 15-0 on the season, and they've been one of the best teams in Class 3A. Landon Norris, and his brother Lincoln Norris, they've been on a tear this season. I just realized Nelly just left. What is he doing? Gosh, he's leaving in the middle of the show. I just can't keep him around. He doesn't want to be around me or nothing.
It ain't my fault. had to blow my nose.
Fair enough. So we got Landon and Lincoln Norris. These dudes have been balling for Knoxville. They've been a key part of their success this season. Landon averaging 19-1 per game and Lincoln averaging 18-1 per game. Landon's got a bit of an advantage, a couple years on him. We'll see what Lincoln's doing his senior year. I'm sure it'll be much of the same. But this is a really talented team. I really like Knoxville. I think they're going to be doing some damage when we come to postseason time, so I'm going to take them to take the win there on the 4th. And my dog for this week, I'm going Waverly Shell Rock on Saturday, taking on Cascade of Class 2A. Cascade 15-2 on the season. I mean, they've been a really solid team in 2A, and they are. This is one of those that you kind of take advantage of the numbers game here. There is a class difference, but Cascade is number 8 in 2A, while Waverly Shell Rock is 12 in 3A. But I was really impressed with the way Waverly Shell Rock played against Nevada. I've watched Nevada in person, and I thought it was a really well-rounded team, and I thought they looked really good. And it was not a very close game, to be honest there. It was 70-42. So I think they played really well against an already proven good team, and I think they can do it again there against Cascade. So that'll be my pick for Class 3A. We'll move on to Class 2A, and I'm going to let Mr. Talon here, Talon Nelson, to give me his dunks and dogs for 2A.
All right, my 2A dunk of the week is number 4 Grundy playing AGWSR. One of the few undefeated teams left. They are 16-0. They have 5 players averaging 10-plus points per game, including senior Jalen Kirkpatrick averaging 20.4. They have also won the last 10 matchups against AGWSR. And if anyone in the comments wants to let me know what AGWSR stands for, because I have absolutely no idea. And then my 2A dog of the week is going to be the actual number 1 in 2A, Western Christian. They're playing in the game of the week against number 10 in 3A, MOC Floyd Valley, and we'll talk a little about that later.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, some of those, the alphabet schools, it can get kind of tricky. If you didn't see, I'm very well versed when it comes to schools, but I have to be honest, I'm a bit unfamiliar with AGWSR. Go check out IA Sports. That was just a somebody put it in the comments, just a clinic that I put on, and I have to agree with that. We're gonna have to get Nelly on there because I gotta.
Oof.
He's already
Oof.
he's tailing me in dunks and dogs, so I'm gonna have to be better at him at something. I don't know. We'll see.
Name the player. I'll name the school. How about that?
All right, I'll move on. Dunks for this week. I'm gonna take North Fayette Valley, a team that is not ranked in our Class 2A rankings, and now I will say that is something that I don't quite agree with. I think that North Fayette Valley. Good grief, I can't find this team. There we go. North Fayette Valley. They're 18-0 on the season. I'm gonna hope I say this right. Kale Richter.
I think it's Richter.
Richter?
I don't know. Let us know.
Please
I think
DM.
So.
I hate saying players' names wrong, so I hope that Kale will send us a DM and hopefully prove me wrong, and I will correct myself next week. But in any case, he's got 30 points per game. He is on our Mr. IAbasketball watch list. North Fayette Valley, they are undefeated on the season. They take on Clayton Ridge on the 7th, and I am going to bank on them to keep doing what they've been doing all season and pick up a win and hopefully crack into our rankings. I'd like to see them in there. More on that later. And then my dog for this week, big-time matchup, I believe, is this one of our game of the week? I'm going to double-check before I talk about this. This is not our game of the week, but you could have argued that it could have been our game of the week. We've got Unity Christian taking on West Lyon on the 7th. Unity Christian is rising in our rankings. West Lyon also rising in our rankings. Unity Christian went up to the number 6 spot this week, while West Lyon jumped up to number 3. Both of these teams are very hot. They're very talented and one of the best in the class. And the one I'm banking on here is the common opponent. Unity Christian beat MLC Floyd Valley last week, 67-59, and West Lyon lost a couple weeks ago, 50-35. Both are really good teams, but I'm going to take Unity Christian to get the upset there. And we will finish our picks with Class 1A. Let's get this going here.
All right, my Class 1A dunk of the week is going to be the team that actually lost you a dunk last week, number 13, North Mahaska. They're playing Colfax Mingo, and Gabe Hoare is leading that squad with 15.6 points per game, and they've actually won the last 10 matchups against Colfax Mingo. So I don't see this game being much of a contest. I hope North Mahaska keeps rolling. And my 1A dog of the week is going to be number 9, Coon Rapids Bayard. They're playing in the game of the week against ACGC at number 8, which should be a very, very good game. We'll talk about that in just a second.
I can't believe you picked against Colfax Mingo, another team that I have family ties to. Shame on you. Anyway, let's start off with my dunk here. I've got Bedford, and they play on the 7th. Bedford, they are taking on, gosh, I love when I can't find the teams on my bound. Well, I can't pull up the game, but I'm going to go with Bedford here as my dunk, and I would love to talk more about who they're playing here. There we go. Okay, they're taking on Fremont Mills. You found it before
Fremont
me.
Mills.
It's my pick. Anyway, Bedford, another team, another guy who has made our Mr. IAbasketball, Cal Peterman, really solid guy, a really solid player, and a very good team. They're 16-0 on the season, one of the few teams in the state that is still undefeated, and I'm going to pick them to beat Fremont Mills. And my dog this week, I've got Burlington Notre Dame, a team that I kind of thought was going to make the 1A rankings this week. Let's see, their game that I'm talking about is on the 4th, and that is against Regina Catholic. Sorry, I'm very unprepared. As you can. Nelly told me he's got notes ready. I'm just trying to do this on the fly, man. Burlington Notre Dame, like I said, a team that I kind of thought would make the 1A rankings this week. They didn't, and I think that they're going to prove them wrong and I think that they can take a win against Regina Catholic. Last time that they played, which was earlier this season, just earlier this month actually, it was a 49-44 win for Regina. I think they flipped the script there, and I think they get a really nice ranked win for themselves. But that's going to do it for our picks. Don't go just yet, because Nelly has very well prepared, much more prepared than I, for our game of the week, and he's going to give us a rundown of the games to watch. One game to watch in every class. This is the can't miss games if they're in your area. Don't go to your favorite school's games. Go to these games if you really want to watch a solid game. So get us started.
All right, the 4A game of the week is going to be, as mentioned earlier, number 5 Lindmar versus number 3 Cedar Rapids Kennedy. There are 2 Mr. IA basketball watchlist players in this game in Trey McCowan and Davis Kern. Going to come down to how the supporting cast really plays. Kern and Trey are they're gonna go out there and get theirs, but the X factor is gonna be players like Payson Dieter and Mason Madsen for Lindmar, or Ruben Schlack and Landon Dieters for Kennedy. Can they take over and push their team over the edge and beat out the other supporting cast players? I mean, they have 2 superstars who are really going to carry the scoring, but it really just depends on how those other players play. And Kennedy has taken actually the last 4 matchups, but this Lindmar team, I've seen them play a couple times in person, and they are a very, very solid squad, one of the best they've had in years for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Davis Kern and Trey McCown, a couple forces to be reckoned with. Anytime you get to watch 2 talented players like that, it's really fun. But these are just 2 really good overall teams, and definitely teams that have the staff to make a deep run into the tournament this year. So that is definitely a can't-miss game. I really like that one. So, yeah, there's your 4A game of the week, and here's your Class 3A game of the week rundown.
All right, Class 3A game of the week is going to be number 3 Ballard versus number 4 Gilbert. Gilbert's actually the second week in a row they are in the game of the week, as they played last week, I believe, against Nevada, which they did win, I'm pretty sure. If I can pull that up. Maybe not. Ballard has won the last 11 matchups, including a 16-point win earlier this year. And Preston Stensland for Gilbert is going to lead the scoring there with 17.4. And he's going to go against Jude Gibson, and I believe they call him Downtown Jackson Brown, and Parker Miller for Ballard. That's what I was hearing in the student section, at least. Downtown Jackson Brown. I guess he shoots a lot of threes. And then Parker Miller, of course. Shout out to my boy Emmett, his cousin. That's my guy. We're gonna see how these 2 teams match up again, and hopefully we can see maybe an upset here.
How about this little stat for you? Since February 22nd of 2016, Ballard has won every single matchup except for 1 in 2020, and that's a lot of matchups. I'm not going to count them all here, but Ballard's pretty much run up the score here in this one, and Gilbert's got something to prove. So we'll see how that one turns out. It'll be a good one nonetheless. So here's your Class 2A game of the week now. Nelly, what should we expect from this one?
All right, our Class 2A game of the week is going to be number 10 in 3A, MLC Floyd Valley versus the number 1 team in 2A, Western Christian. They have not played since 2019, where Western Christian won by just 4 points, but Blake Abers and MOC are coming ready to play. He's leading the scoring with 19.1 for them, and then Caden Van Regenmorter with 19 points as well for Western Christian. This is it's going to be an interesting one for sure. I mean, 2 teams that don't play each other often, obviously very talented in their respective classes, both ranked. But I can't see which way this will go. Obviously, I picked Western Christian to upset the 3A team, but we'll see how that is.
Yeah, that'll be definitely an interesting one there. It's always, you don't really know what to expect on those cross-class matchups, but I think that one will be really competitive. I think it'll be closer than a lot of people think. For either side. So we're going to finish this one off. Nelly, we're only at 25 minutes here. I tried to keep my yapping to a minimum this time around, and it seems to be paying off. So I'll let you finish this off with our Class 1A game of the week.
All right, our Class 1A game of the week might be the closest one out of all the classes. Number 9, Coon Rapids Bayard versus number 8, ACGC. Both teams are 15-1 heading into this matchup. Coon Rapids Bayard Cal Hayden is averaging 20.8 points per game, while ACGC's Jathan South is averaging 19.6. As I was scrolling through the stats in this game, they had some very similar numbers shooting wise, points per game. And they both played a similar opponent, and they beat Ogden by 20 points. Sorry, Ogden fans, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus there, but that is what happened this season. But ACGC leads the series 15 games to 9, but the last 4 have been split 2-2 between these two teams, and this should be a very competitive game.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Coon Rapids Bayard. They not only take on, I saw that on Bound going through the games today. They not only play ACGC this week, who's number 8 in the 1A rankings, they also take on number 3 Woodbine earlier on this week. So we're starting up district play here in about a week or so, and they are taking on two of some of the best teams in the class. So that'll be a really good test for all 3 of those teams. I mean, these are all 3 really good competitive teams in 1A. So, yeah, that's going to be really exciting. But that's going to do it for us. Another one in the books. This one's always fun. I was a little bit sad that I had to do it by myself last week, but he's just a busy guy. What can I say? But thank you for joining us yet again. If you've been keeping up with us this season, we really do appreciate it. We started with a very low audience, and our socials are really growing very quickly, and we're very excited for where this is going to go. We're going to do our best to keep bringing you the best coverage that we can for the end of the regular season coming up, and of course through the playoffs. I know that we're all going to be working hard, so keep up with the socials. Keep following us on Instagram. If you like this, please give us a like, give us a comment if you like our picks. If you don't like our picks, more often than not. And, just if you have any creative ideas you want to see from us, shoot us a DM, give us a comment, and we'll see what we can do about it. But thank you guys for tuning in, and, we'll see you next week.